Thank you, Renu. As you can see, I'm hosting today. Our beloved Mangalanandaji has really been stricken with a terrible respiratory bug, and he is listening on his earphones as he reclines and is recuperating. But we had a little conversation before we started. It was wonderful to see him and see that he is getting a little bit better. But we dedicate this satsang to him and to his full recovery. So for those of you who might be new, it's a miracle of Ma's Kayal, or divine will, to have friends who join from around the world, really, because we are able to have this satsang on Zoom. And as you know, the word satsang means in the company of truth, and in our case, it is in the name of Ma, in the company of Ma. So together we invoke her presence. We'll be doing some chanting, telling stories of Ma, and contemplating her words and meditating together. So just a couple of technical things. If you're new, we usually everyone stays muted except for me, except for 2 different times. And pretty soon, in a few minutes, we'll be doing some introductions because we'd love to hear who's here. And at that time, Renu will call on you and you can unmute and introduce yourself. Then we go back to mute. And then at the end, we have a sharing time where we share about our sadhana, any questions, any inspirations that came up during satsang. And that's another time where we unmute.
Just a reminder too about the recording.
Yes. Thanks. Yes, we do record all our satsangs. And one of the amazing things I'm realizing is that we may have, 35 people here today, but hundreds of people are watching these satsangs because we record them and they're on YouTube. And it's just, we like everyone to understand that we are recording the satsang. We hope it won't inhibit your sharing in any way. But it's a great gift to people who live in a different time zone or for some reason can't be here today. So yes, thanks Renu for being our technical person. We also have our beloved Saraswati is here. It's going to be doing some tech work for us. So we're really in good hands. So let me tell you a little bit about the flow of satsang today. We'll start with the opening mantras and reading a quote from Ma, and then we'll have our introductions, followed by a kirtan that we'll hear from our wonderful Katya from Portugal. After that, we're going to have some stories of Ma's grace. First, our dear sister Arpita is going to talk about her meeting Ma, and then I'm going to be reading from an interview I did with Swami Vijayananda, one of our favorite swamis of Ma, and his meeting of Ma. Then I'll be leading a chant. Then we'll have some readings of Ma's satsangs, and then our sharing will begin. And after sharing, we'll have meditation. We'll have a kirtan leading into meditation and a kirtan coming out, and then we'll have our announcements. I like everybody to know what's coming. So let's begin with our pranam mantras. And I'm just going to sing one short mantra now. At the end, we'll do a whole sequence of mantras, but this is often sung at the beginning of anything important. And this mantra says, I bow to that guru who pervades the invisible form of the universe, who penetrates everything, be it mobile or immobile. She shows the goal, which is that.
Sorry, the sound.
Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha.
Sound?
Anandamayi Ma ki Jai.
J, sound.
I forgot to put on the original sound. So as soon as I start to rev up to sing something, Renu, do tell me to do that.
Yes, I did, but I don't think you heard me. I
Oh,
did.
sorry about that. Okay. Next time we will. Does it sound broken up when I sing it like that? Without the original sound?
It just only heard your voice, not the harmonium.
Oh, okay. Okay. So let's begin with a quote in which Ma reminds us that she is always with us. Your sorrow, your pain, your agony is indeed my sorrow, pain, and agony. This body understands everything. You may want to leave this body, but this body won't leave you for a single day. It does not and never will leave you. One who has once been attracted to this body, even though they may make 1,000 attempts, will not be able to efface or blot out the memory of this body. It will remain and persist in their memory for all time. Jai Ma. So we'll begin now with our introductions. Most of you know who I am, but I'll introduce myself briefly. I'm Pragnya Hallstrom, living now in Amherst, Massachusetts. And although I didn't meet Ma in person, I now see that she has orchestrated my entire life. I was first introduced to her by reading Autobiography of a Yogi in 1970. Many of you also had that experience of first reading about her there. And 8 years after that, my guru, Swami Muktananda, I was sitting in a courtyard with a bunch of devotees of Ma's in India, and he stopped everything and said, all of you must go meet Anandamayi Ma. You must go find her. This is 1978. And he said, Anandamayi Ma is God in a female body. And it really struck me and planted this seed very, very deeply. So in 1984, I discovered an archive of all of Ma's books and tapes and movies and videos that have been donated to the Harvard Divinity School. And once I decided to write my PhD dissertation on Ma, and she took me to India to interview her devotees, everything fell into place. And her grace really has been palpable in every realm of my life ever since. So I feel very blessed by that. So now, Renu, you'll call on people to
Yes.
introduce themselves.
Yes, I'm just going to go down the participant list and you guys can unmute and just say briefly where you're from and your name. So we're going to start with our other co-host, Saraswati.
Hello, everyone. My name is Saraswati Barbara Haney. I live in Buffalo, New York, and I'm going to keep it right there. We'll keep it short and we'll do our sharing at the end. So, Jai Ma, everyone.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, welcome. Next, we have James.
I'm Jim Broadus. I live in Henderson, Nevada, which is part of the Las Vegas area.
Welcome,
Yeah.
Jim.
Thank you.
Next, we have David.
Yes.
It's the other David.
Jai Ma, everyone.
Okay, welcome. Jai Ma. Let's see. Next, we have Mangalananda Ji. I don't know if he's gonna unmute. His voice was pretty rough, but welcome, Mangalananda Ji. And next we have Arpita Ji.
Hello, everybody. My name is Arpita Brown. Robert is taking a nap. And we both live in Florida, in Delray Beach, Florida. Thank you. Jai Ma.
Welcome, Arpita.
Welcome. Next we have Bill Ryan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill. I live in Tucson, Arizona. It's nice to be with you all today, Jai Ma.
Good to see you, Bill. Jai Ma.
Jay Ma, welcome. Next we have Carlos Estrella.
Hi, this is Carlos Estrella. I am in Florida. Jai Ma, everybody.
Jai Ma.
Carlos, Jema, good to see you.
Jay Ma, welcome. Next we have Kathy Porrell.
Hello, Jema. My name is Kathy, and I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Welcome, Kathy, Jema.
Thank you.
Welcome. Next we have our other Kirtan Fierce leader, Katya.
Thank you, Gemma. This is Katia from Portugal. Thank you. Very happy to be here with you. Thank you.
We're so happy.
Jema.
Kathy hasn't been feeling well and she got well just in time.
Yes, just in time.
Jema.
Gemma.
We would have been real light on the Kirtan this week. All right, next we have David. So I think that's Linda and David.
Yes, Jay Ma. We are so thankful for this group. We are in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Jai Ma.
Jema, good to see you both.
Thank you.
Jay Ma, welcome. Next we have David Rubinson.
I think we already heard from David. Did we, David?
Yeah.
Janet,
Jai Ma,
David?
everyone.
Hi,
It's Janet and David. Wonderful to be with everybody today. Love you.
Yeah, Jay Ma.
Jay Ma, welcome. Next we have Frank and Denise.
Hi, everybody. This is Frank and Denise. Denise is not feeling well, so she's in the distance over here. We're from Hermiston, Oregon. So, Jai Ma.
Welcome, Frank. I hope that Denise feels well soon.
Jay Ma, welcome. Good to see you both. Or hear from you both. Okay, next we have Harold and Martha.
Hey, Ma, everyone. We're here from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
And to you, Jema, good to see you.
Welcome. Next we have Julia Shama.
Namaste, everyone. I'm in Canada with the glory of an early spring.
Good to see you, Shama, Jema.
Thank you.
Jaymon, welcome. Next we have Kathleen Kirchner.
Kathleen from Stanhope, New Jersey. Jai Ma.
Welcome, Kathleen, Jema.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Welcome, Jayma. Next we have MC.
Hi, I'm Carmen from Northampton, Mass. I will need to be moving my body a little bit, so I'm gonna turn the camera off so it's not distracting. Glad to be here today, Jai Ma.
Jema, Carmen, so good to see you. A dear old friend.
Jayma, welcome. And next we have Michael Zeev.
Hi, I'm Michael from Sebastopol, California. Great to be back.
Good to see you, Michael.
Jayma.
Jayma, welcome. And next we have Patty Ayers.
Hi, I'm Patty and I'm joining from Colorado.
Welcome,
Jayma.
Patty. Good to see you, Jema.
Thank you.
Jayma, welcome, Patty. And next we have Randy Jordan.
Hello, everybody. Randy from Western Mass, Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and Jai Ma. Glad to be here.
Good to see you, Randy, Jema.
Jayma, welcome, Randy. Next we have Sarah, I believe. Aloha.
Hi, it's Sarah from the Big Island of Hawaii. Jai Ma.
Jema, Sarah, welcome.
Jayma, welcome, Sarah, and aloha. And we have next Sir Blake Sinclair.
Hello, I'm Blake. I'm from Dublin, California. Jai Ma.
Jema, Blake, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Jayma, welcome. Next we have, Sudha Shatta, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. So you can call me Sudha. This is Sudha. I'm from northern New Jersey. Jai Ma.
Welcome. Very good to see you, Jema.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, welcome, Sudha. And next we have Will.
I'm from UK. So, thanks for having us. What a great meeting. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome from the UK. It's great to see you, Will. Jai Ma.
Thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, Will. And next we have Yana from Hawaii.
Jai Ma, Yana from Hilo.
Welcome, Yana. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, aloha and welcome. And finally we have Yatesh.
Jai Ma, I'm Yitesh. I live in San Francisco, but for few days I'm visiting Canada. I'm in Toronto. When Pragna talked about that, Ma understands the suffering, pain, and sorrow. That was really touching. Thanks for saying that. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Jai Ma, Yatesh, welcome. And let's see, there was a couple of people who joined us a little bit later, so let's see if I can find them. Sylvie, I think she just joined.
On LinkedIn then.
Sylvia, are you there?
Okay, well, maybe she is having technical difficulties. Is there anybody else I missed or who joined a little bit later?
Hi, this is Devashish from Chicago, Jai Ma.
Good to see you, Devashish.
Welcome.
Good to be here. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma. I think that's it.
Has everyone introduced themselves?
I'm Bruce.
Hey, Bruce, I thought I saw you. Bruce, it's so good to see you, Jai Ma. South Carolina.
Yep, I think that's it.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. We have people from wonderful distances. I love that. So we're going to begin with a kirtan, one of our favorites. It's Om Sharanam, and it's led by our beloved Katya from Portugal. So thank you, Katya. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, thank you. Shri Shri Anandamayi Ma ki jai. Om Sharanam. 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 Anandamayi Ma. 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 Sharanam, Om 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 Sharanam. Om Sharanam, Om Sharanam, Om Sharanam, Om Sharanam. Om Shri Shri Anandamayi Mat Ki Jai.
Jai Ma. Thank you so much, Katya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma, for getting you well in time to come to satsang. Thank you.
Indeed. Jai Ma.
So we thought today we would have a couple of stories of Ma's grace, personal stories of people's meeting Ma, what happened when they first met Ma. So to begin with, I asked our friend Arpita, who we so treasure in our satsang and comes regularly, to tell the story that of her meeting Ma. We know that she was young. We know that she went to India. And I personally just wanted to hear that story firsthand. So Arpita, please take it away.
Thank you very much for leading this satsang today. I'm a little, have some sadness I'm working with, so just bear with me. Yeah, so I was young once, actually, believe it or not. I first heard of Ma, like a lot of people, because I guess it was from the Paramahansa Yogananda autobiography of a yogi that I was first introduced. And I lived in Oklahoma, and there was an ashram there, was a monastery of Hindu, a sort of a Hindu monastery type thing. All the residents were Westerners. They were Americans specifically. And for some reason, I found it and started to go there regularly. That whole story is a whole other thing, which I won't go into. But I started to cultivate a strong, or within me, there started to be cultivated a strong wish and desire and compulsion to go to India and to see Ma. And I had two little kids. I had twins. But the pull was so strong that I left them, and I left them with my husband at the time. And the first time I went to India twice, and I was with Ma twice. First time I left them there with my ex-husband, and think my parents also. And I went with a friend named Catherine, who actually lived in that ashram, in that monastic situation in Oklahoma. She currently lives in Texas. And I went with her. And we just had quite a lot of adventures, really, because it was very daunting, because we went completely on faith. We didn't know where she would be. And anyway, the first time I saw her, I guess it was in Varanasi. And I was walking, and I just was really consumed by this need to be with her and to see her. And all of a sudden I was like drawn to, I guess I work a lot with intuition in myself. So I felt drawn to go into this specific sort of alleyway. Sounds very bizarre. So I went towards this alleyway and I saw this black car, and I just like freaked, because not only was there anticipation, but I have to say there was anxiety about meeting her and being with her. It was daunting and it was overwhelming in a good way, but there was still anxiety there. So that was, she was in the car, and it was very brief. It was like dangling a little carrot, you know, there she is, hello. And then it went on from there. And Catherine and I had quite a number of exciting experiences where, frankly, my trust was invited to be cultivated also, because you never knew where she was going to be. She was very spontaneous, and she traveled according to her khayal, I guess you'd say, or she would say. So we traveled around a lot in India. And at that time, I was young, and we just stayed, you know, in third class in trains. I slept on the floor in a train. I have to say, I'm just from, you know, a pretty normal middle class background. So all of this was very exciting and very different for me. But it was wonderful, and it's very hard to articulate. You know, one can talk about experiences and things that happened, but the whole journey for most people, for all people with her, is all internal. It's all within, and the transformation and the consciousness, it's all within. So yeah, I mean, I could tell you a lot of stories, but I, you know, obviously have time constraints. And then I went back, and the first time was 1973. And then the second time I went was in 1976. And at that time I went with my first husband, my ex-husband. We went together, and we left the children with my mother and father. And you know, I still have mixed feelings about doing that, but I think it was ultimately the right thing. It was the only thing I could do, frankly. I had to do it. And so with him, that was a whole other number of experiences. And I just feel very unworthy about it, that I didn't really know how I was so lucky to be able to spend time with her, to have, she gave me an initiation and my name. And I don't know how it all happened, and I don't know, but I'm very grateful. I do want to say one thing. I feel like she's really saved me on several occasions, quite literally. The last being, I was in the car the last week, and you know, in Florida, people drive really, really crazy. And so we were driving along, and I didn't see this car at all. Had no idea. And my husband just shouted that there was this car, and we were going straight, and this car, we had the light, and the other car made a left turn, and he did not have the light, and I could have literally broadsided him, And all of a sudden, the car went into neutral. I had my bag, my purse on the dash, that center console, and it's not a real heavy, big bag, and it fell forward, and I don't know if it knocked the car in the gear into neutral, or I don't know how it happened. I have no idea, but I stopped, and I think I was within 2 feet of this car, and it kept going. And it just occurred to both of us that it was Ma. And things like this have happened in the car before. But anyway, I guess hopefully that gives you some insight. I can't really talk about experiences. Would take too long, and I can't articulate as well as some people. So thank you for hearing. Thank you for listening. Jai Ma.
Thank you, Arpita. Jai Ma, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I love thinking of you going off, just being pulled into the unknown like that. And you know, obviously, Ma pulled you. You were chosen to go. So it's wonderful to hear the story. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And the second story of meeting Ma is a favorite of mine. For those of you who've been to India and to Ma's ashrams, there was one Swami who was particularly easy to talk to, Swami Vijayananda, a French Swami, and he had a wonderful, very thick French accent that was sort of peppered a little bit with a Hindi accent at this point. And when I was there in 1990, interviewing devotees of Ma, I interviewed him, and I asked him to tell me the story of his meeting Ma. And I wish I could do his French accent justice, because it was just so delightful to hear him speaking about Ma in that accent. But I'm not going to try that. I'm not going to burden you with that. So I said, I'd like to hear the story of how you met Ma, Vijayananda. Yes, I guess I'll start from the beginning. You see, I came to India. I was in India in January 1951. I should say he was a French doctor. He was an MD. Actually, my idea was to find a guru. I had a guru in France, and I was practicing with him, but I felt I knew that something inside must be awakened, and I understood this guru was not capable to do it. Something very vague at this time. I don't know exactly what it might be. Something inside I felt must be awakened. So I had read a book of Paul Brunton, and I read about Ramana Maharshi. So at first I thought Ramana Maharshi is the right man who can awaken the thing I want to get awakened, you see? So I picked up my ticket to go to India. I went, I knew the head of the Ramakrishna mission in Paris. So I went to him, and in talking to him, he told me that Ramana Maharshi had just passed away. Oh, all right, I had already got my visa. So I told anyhow, Aurobindo's still there, so let me go see him. So I booked my passage, everything, you see. And a few days before I started, in fact, the very day my boat started, I was told Aurobindo had passed away. Both had slipped into nirvana before I came. Anyway, everything was ready, so let me get to India anyhow. Someone will be there. So first I went to Ceylon, and then I went to India. When I went, my idea was to go see this in South India and then come back. First, I went to Pondicherry. I met a Canadian lady, and she told me she was coming north and I was going to the south. So I asked her, she said, no, you must go to Benares. You can meet Ma Anandamayi. So I asked her, who is Ma Anandamayi? So she told me she's a lady saint. That was not my idea of a guru. My idea of a guru was an old man with a white beard, a long white beard. So I said, a lady? She must be old and humpbacked like the mother of Pondicherry. No, 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 she's young and beautiful, she says. That's very strange, huh? She must have all women, no men, all women devotees. She said, oh no, not all women devotees. She has lots of men, perhaps more men than women. So I noticed in my book other things to see in Benares, the university, the museum, and Ma Anandamayi. After I went to Calcutta, something happened, you see. I was staying in the Mahabodhi Society, and faced to the Mahabodhi Society, there was the Aurobindo Center. And I went there, and as a young man there, and he approached me, and he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Benares. He said, if you go to Benares, you must see Ma Anandamayi. He told me, I'm related with this Ma Anandamayi, and he gave me an introduction. So he sent me to one very, very close to Ma. So I went. It was something not important for me, very early, secondary, you see. So I came to Benares. I went first to the Ramakrishna Mission. I went to a hotel, of course. I took a room in the best hotel. And then one young man, the nephew of this man, brought me to Ma. So I came to the ashram. The ashram is very beautiful in Benares. It was much more before. And then, just as I got there, Ma Anandamayi came out, and she looked out, so she looked at me. You know, she had this special looked inner. Have you seen it? What was it like, this special look? I said. Vijayananda, it looked like looking at you and looking through you, beyond you, like seeing your past, your future, your destiny, your destiny. So what impressed me actually was her beauty. It didn't impress me. I found her very ordinary. It's remarkable, you see. Everybody says, oh, she's so beautiful. Even at that time, she was 54, but that's not what impressed me. But what's strange, you see, what strikes me is that she was so young. She looked very young. She had this long, flowing black hair. It was striking. I expected to see an old woman, but she looked really young, and it was not what I expected. Yeah, but I still found something strange inside. I felt something strange. First there was nothing special, and then there's something strange. So instead of going away, I said, let me sit a little more. Let me sit a little more. So I sat, and there was kirtan. I like kirtan very much. Then I went back to my hotel. I went to my room, and in the hotel, there was an inner explosion, a revolution in myself, you see? An inner revolution, an inner explosion, a feeling of unearthly love. Unearthly love. You see something unearthly, and the solid conviction, without a shadow of a doubt, that this was the guru I was looking for. Somebody you don't know, you know nothing about her. I didn't know anything. I hadn't read anything. And I said, what were you doing when this explosion happened? And he said, I don't remember really. I was in the hotel, I was in my room, but I wasn't even meditating. And it lasted and lasted. It didn't go away. Next morning, I came to the ashram. I asked permission to stay in the ashram. She agreed. And since then, I'm here. Jai Ma. So that's Swami Vijayananda. And when I was there, it was 1990, and he'd been there since this experience. I mean, he'd followed Ma here and there, and sometimes she sent him away to meditate, but just his explanation of that inner explosion, which he later referred to as Shaktipat, the descent of grace, the descent of the power. So I'm glad to have shared that with you. And now I'm going to turn on the original sound. Let's see. It's very hard for me to see from here when I've got the original sound or not. So, Renu, what's weird is it doesn't look like it's on right now.
Okay, yeah, you just click the banner usually, and then like when you did it earlier, it worked.
I know. Excuse me, I'm gonna get closer. I can see. All I can see is the meeting is being recorded, so it seems to be that the original sound banner is hidden by the meeting is being recorded. Okay, I think I just turned it on.
It
That
sounded
was-
like
That's good. Okay, let me know. So we're gonna sing one of my favorite chants to Ma, Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Karunamayi Parameshwari. And I invite you, I know that, you know, we're not all together in one room, but when I sing a line, see if you can repeat it after me. And it means, Anandamayi, of course, means filled with bliss. Chaitanyamayi means filled with consciousness. Karunamayi, filled with compassion. Parameshwari, the highest goddess. And then we sing Hema, Hema, Hema. So Renu, let's test it and see how it sounds.
Sounds great.
Good. Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Karunamayi Parameshwari. Now you can sing Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Karunamayi Parameshwari. Hey Ma, 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 hey Ma. Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Karunamayi Parameshwari. Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Karunamayi Parameshwari. Hey Ma, 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 hey Ma. Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Karunamayi Parameshwari. Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Karunamayi Parameshwari. Hey Ma, 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 hey Ma. Om Shri Ma Jaya Jaya 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 Ma. Hey, Om Shri Ma Jaya Jaya Ma. 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 Karunamayi Parameshwari Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Karunamayi Parameshwari Shri Anandamayi Mata Ki Jai. Jai Ma. So it's time to read some of Ma's words, some of Ma's teachings. We're reading today from volume 2 of the Gospel of Sri Anandamayi Ma. Renu, you just smiled. You like volume 2?
I like them all.
Okay, so today we're reading from tape number 41, which took place in Vrindavan on February 5th, 1975. So again, just to remind you, these transcripts are taken from tapes that were recorded, when Ma was giving these very informal question and answer sessions. And so you can imagine that people are asking questions and Ma is giving an answer that is perfectly designed, not just for the person who asked the question, but for everyone who is at that satsang, and really for each of us also. So I always open the book to see where she wants us to read. So today we're on page 35 of volume 2. Shri Ma, we say that he is not blessing us with his grace. It's just that we are not experiencing his grace. This feeling of lack is also awakened by God. If the feeling of lack is not awakened, one's nature will not change. One should have the feeling, I cannot do anything without your help. One should also have the feeling that there is no pleasure in the world. It is very difficult to have these feelings. Therefore, what should one do? He should sit down daily and do japa and dhyanam, that is repetition of mantra and meditation. But to do them just automatically, trying to get through them quickly, looking around and listening to different things, and trying to get other things done while practicing, that's not right. Ma becomes very insistent at this point. Intelligence in action itself is laudable, but one should remember, jitna bhav, utana labh. To whatever extent the feeling of devotion exists, there will be that much benefit. When one acts without devotion, his action falls short of the benefit. This kind of action is unable to produce the fire that would give him light. It fails to produce the water that would quench his thirst. That is why this body says, practice daily and do not cast your glance on your external surroundings while performing japa or dhyanam. Do not listen to outside things. Keep him with you. Feel him always. To look at the entertaining things going on all around you, or to have conversations, or to move during japa is not right, because it carries you away from the object. We should have one object. What is the meaning of ekagra, possessing concentration? Ekagra means one, eka, and point, agra. Only one thing in front of you. There are many things appearing before you, and you select only one of them and concentrate on that alone. That is called ekagra. If you do japa and dhyanam without ekagra, he cannot help blessing you with his grace. But even if you do not have this feeling, do not give up on your practice. Who knows when that feeling will be awakened in you? There is not a fixed amount of time or moment such that if you go on doing this for many days or years, that feeling will come to you. Nobody knows when that moment will come. Nobody knows when that moment will come when he manifests. Therefore, keep doing that. And that too, with all devotion, thinking there is nothing else like this. If you reach this state, you will start enjoying the action. As long as you do not get this rasa, sweetness, and spada, taste in the action, you must think that it is so because your mind is not concentrated. Therefore, be with him, thinking that there is nothing other than he. Give up hearing, looking, reading, and writing widely. Everyone cannot become like this. Only 1 in thousands reaches this state. If you become that one, good. God has arranged all of these things. He says, come this way and you will have my darshan. Proceed on that path and I will meet you. However, you may sometimes get discouraged and say, it's no use. I've been thinking of him. I've been doing japa for so many years, but I have not succeeded. I've done a lot for him, but I still do not have his grace. I've tried really hard, but I have not reached that state. This disappointment should not cause anger in you or agitate your mind, because that anger and agitation will spoil the whole thing. All that you have done will be undone. The proper food should make you have a more humble and peaceful attitude. Sometimes a person is ignorant of having achieved that state, even after having done so because of his previous karmas. The previous karmas do not allow him to realize and enjoy that state of grace, and he thinks that he has failed in achieving it. By continuing to practice meditation, prayer, and worship, and absorbing his senses, mind, and prana in that one object, a state comes where he does not get angry at all. Even in situations where he should get angry at someone, he does not do so. He just prays to God, hey, Bhagwan, please make the person who is offending me all right. Please pacify his mind so he is able to fix his mind in you. So he prays. He never gets angry. He forgets how to be agitated. He simply prays to God, hey, Bhagavan, please make him all right. Please pacify his mind so he is able to fix his mind in you. He never gets angry as he has forgotten how to be agitated. He becomes namrata, sober, sthiraka, calm, and shanta, peaceful. He possesses humility, modesty, and firmness. Then he pulls his mind away from worldly things to remain absorbed in that rapture. He takes pleasure only in Bhagavad Gita, stories of the Lord, his japa, and his dhyana. He does not enjoy the talk going on all around him. He doesn't have any taste for the food he's put in his mouth. He takes it to be just for the protection of the body. He must offer that food to the fire burning in his stomach, so he offers it, Ma laughs. That is all. When he eats, it is as if he is performing a sacrificial fire. He performs that yajna by taking food for the sake of the body. If sometimes, unfortunately, he enjoys the taste of food, he prays, oh God, take it away from me. Otherwise, I shall lose the taste of you. This is called karamani karma, non-action in action. Until that state is achieved, one should keep on doing this japa. You should give up digging only when the water appears, and give up rubbing sticks together only when the fire is lit, not before that. Jai Ma. Wow, that was meant for me in a few places. So I think now we're going to move into our sharing time, and this has turned into a really beautiful thing here at Satsang. When people share from their heart what's going on in your sadhana, what touched you in the reading or in the talks this morning, how is Ma impacting your life? So let's begin our sharing with whoever feels moved. And Renu, you can get Renu's attention in one of two ways. You can raise your hand, or you can, there's a thing at the bottom where under reactions where you can raise your, a sort of a virtual hand. So don't be shy. We love hearing how you're all doing in your sadhana, how you feel about satsang today. Who would like to begin? Renu, do you see Martha?
It looks like Harold and Martha raised their hand.
Thank you, Renu. Arpita, I would like to know a little bit more of your story about the feelings that you were talking about going to see Ma and yet having your children. I'm very much a student of that householder versus monastic life. And I'm working on a project around it for Ma, and I'd really love to hear what happened with that. If you ever come, maybe heard Ma talk about that personally. I know she talked about it a lot and taught a lot, but I'd love to hear just also your own experience of that. I think it's very powerful. This is Women's History Month, and I think it's a very powerful part of women's history, those of us that love the path. Would you be willing to say a little bit more about how you managed that with your children and the decisions? And
I don't know what more I can really say. I think there was conflict in my heart and my mind about, they were very little. And I don't know how I would have felt, if it were me and my mother did that. So, yeah, there was just some cognitive dissonance there but I just followed what I felt called to do. But that doesn't mean it was, in some ways easy. And then I spoke to them when they got older, and I asked them how they felt about it, which I don't, really feel comfortable sharing because it's their story, feelings, and they may not be comfortable with me sharing their feelings. So I can only speak for me. I'm not sorry that I did. I just think it's rather interesting that the way Ma works. I was speaking with Prajna this morning about how God works, and in so many different ways, so many circuitous routes that you can get to fulfill that journey. And they're not always a straight line or a straight path, or, sometimes it's confusing, and sometimes it's a lot of times, I guess, right? If you read anything with Thomas Merton, Seven Story Mountain, and lots of people have expressed that. That's really all I can say. I don't know, what else you want.
No,
Thank
beautiful.
you, Arpita. Yeah, and thank you for the question, Martha. Arpita and I have this in common. I went to India with my kids for the first time, and they were 5 and 7. And, I always felt, this is before I started to know about Ma, but I always felt there was a tension between the yogini in me and the mother. I have 6 kids. So, it's been a whole lifetime of balancing my spiritual practice and my children and my grandchildren. And I feel that Ma was extremely supportive of mothers and all the women who came to her. She would give them practices that didn't interfere with their daily lives. Most of them did kirtan as their practice, but they sang bhajans, and Ma would have them do that after the children had gone to school. So there was an entire sadhana crafted for the householder women who came to Ma. And, so that they would feel the minimum of conflict that we were just talking about. But, thank you, Arpita. And we can have some more conversations about this in the future. I think it's a really good question. And thank you, Martha, for the question.
Thank you for the question.
Okay. Who else would like to share, ask a question, or talk about the reading?
I don't see anybody else with their hand up at this time.
Well, we can let people think in silence for a minute about what they might like to share.
Go ahead, Carlos.
Okay, thank you. The reading was very timely for me. Most of the time for a while I was reading, out of my gospels every day, and putting the effort and doing sitting in japa. And sometimes there'll be days when I wouldn't do the sitting, but the reading will continue and, or one or the other. And of late, the only thing that has continued has been a little bit of chanting, sitting and a little bit of chanting, and not so much the reading. And so when you said you were going to read today, I was hoping that there'll be something in the reading that will encourage me to practice a little more. And it was so. So I'm very grateful. Thank you. And thank you, Toma.
I'm so glad, Carlos. That's wonderful. Yeah, I must say for myself that when Ma was talking about how concentrated you should be when you're doing japa meditation, I felt really, like a little embarrassed because I can see the ways in which I distract myself when I'm doing my practice. My latest strategy for distraction is I bring up my cup of green tea up to the meditation room. And I'm noticing now that I can't wait until the end of the japa to start drinking this tea. And here's Ma saying, don't look this way, don't look that way, don't think about this, don't think about that. Just think about the name of God that you're repeating. So it was really a good reading. It was really a good reading for me, a good lesson, because I can see the mind like playing these tricks on, oh, I could do this or I could do that. And I'd love to hear if anybody else has these challenges. Michael, I see your hand. We can't hear you, Michael. I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking about this ekagra, or in the Pali, I think it's ekagata. So it's that one-pointedness. But in some of in the Theravada and Buddhist tradition, I learned that one-pointedness means the place that includes. It's not the place that excludes, it's the place that includes, which for me was liberating, because then I can settle into what is, and the japa will just come. There's no resistance, there's no conflict anymore, because it's like purna, it's like all inclusive. So that for me was really helpful, instead of this emphasis on concentration. And then I have something else to say, but
go ahead.
Well, I wanted to mention about the saying that you mentioned, that Ma used, the 10 aphorisms, and this one she used all the time, which is, as you play, so you hear. And I kept thinking about this because it's so much in the books, it's so much in the Gospels, and I just kept like, well, what actually does she mean, But then when I read in the Gospel too, where she was saying, I am his instrument, and then she says, as you play, so you hear. And then later she says, you are his instrument, as you play, so you hear. So it's almost like she could have said, as you play me, so you hear me, or as you play you, so you hear me or you. And so since everything is her, it's like, as you play, so you hear. It came home to me in a deeper way, through reading it over and over. And then this, she says, you are the yantra, you are the instrument. As you play, so you hear.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to mention that insight that I had.
I love that you're doing a contemplation of that phrase, because she does say it so much, and you've taken it to a new level. I mean, often the context is somebody's asking her a question, and she really she doesn't want to address it for whatever reason. She doesn't seem to have the kale to address it, and she says, we're moving on, basically. As you play, so you hear. So there's this sense that the person who's asked the question is not in a state to receive the answer. So that's one way we hear it. But I love that you've generalized it to as you play, so you hear, to us as well. That's really great. And going back to your, I really appreciate also what you said in the beginning. So anyone have any responses to Michael's sharing before we go on to Shama?
All I just wanted to say was when he said inclusiveness, it reminded me of what Ram Dass says about like loving awareness, of just loving everything as it is, as it comes up for us during sadhana or not sadhana or whatever, when we're just okay with things as they are.
Mm.
And that includes our own vrittis, the
Yeah, waves of the
thought
mind.
waves. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say.
That's really good. And that idea that ekagra doesn't mean like, oh, I must not think of anything else, but to include everything. I think that's really a helpful insight for all of us, Michael. Thank you for that. Shama?
I believe that I saw this on a video of Vijayananda, and it has to do with your tea in the morning, because he said on the video, I have my cup of coffee first thing in the morning, and then I do my sadhana. And then that way I can focus entirely. I think he likes to focus on his coffee, and then he focuses on his sadhana.
Oh, that's what Vijayananda said?
Yeah, and I believe it was a video that I heard him say that.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Thank you.
He was French, you know.
Yes, he was. He was. So let's hear from some other people. What questions came up today? What inspiration? What's going on in your sadhana?
Yatesh, did you
Hi.
want to?
Yeah. I wanted to ask if you have any suggestions for people who are like still trying to figure this out. From my perspective, I am yeah going through stuff in my personal life, but like we live in Western world, and we have all these Eastern philosophies, right? We try to live, and how do you like because we have to work, we have to like hang out with our friends, we have to have a social life, and how do you manage this, like, and we are trying to follow this spiritual path, and sometimes it's hard, um, um, and there is a lot of stuff which happens in life, and then yeah, it just derails you from the path sometimes. Like this happened to me recently, that I was going out with my friends, and the next day on Sunday was the satsang, and I was like, oh, what, like, yeah, I mean, I've been drinking alcohol, and then the next day I'm doing satsang. So like, what am I doing? Like, how I'm supposed to behave? Yeah, um, yeah, just wanted to bring this up.
Thank you so much for asking that question. I'm sure we all have our own version of that, because this is the Western world and we're all being pulled in many directions. So that I'm going to open this to everybody to make suggestions, but my first thought is you know, Ma, there's two main things that Ma asks. One is that we give at least 15 minutes a day to God. In particular, she often suggests, and in her ashrams, that's 8:45 to 9 o'clock at night. That's the minimum that she's asking. So what time of day it is, I think that's a realistic starting point. But in terms of how we comport ourselves in the rest of this busy world, she's really teaching us to give everything we do to God. To dedicate everything. So Saraswati and I were talking about what do we do first thing in the morning when we wake up. The first thing that I do is to give my day to Ma. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to go to a party or, you know, hang out with my friends or whatever. It means that my intention for the day is to remember God as much as possible, and that everything I do, for example, unloading the dishwasher in the morning, is one of my main sadhana points of the day. I say, I'm doing this for you, Ma. I know that sounds silly, but the idea is remembrance of God. So you can do that, you know, anywhere. I remember once going to the Big Apple Circus with my kids, and I started to feel the joy and the energy of the circus and all the perfection of these circus, you know, performers. And I started to feel all of this Shakti, all of this power. And I began to do my mantra because it reminded me this is part of the play of God. This is the Leela of Ma, the play of Ma. So rather than separating between spiritual activities and, you know, daily activity, you know, sort of mundane activities, to see everything as God and everything as an opportunity to remember God. I don't know if that helps, but that's what came to mind, Yutesh.
Yeah,
like
definitely does.
I'd like to try
I
to add something too.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm here in my sick bed. Yeah, Desh, I want to try to answer your question also. It's a really relevant question to today's world. Can you understand me? My voice is so bad.
yeah.
Ma always everything's been said. It's been perfect. You know, it's really true. What's Pragya was saying also. But Ma also stressed keep satsang. That's one of the main. In fact, often that was the first thing she stressed was satsang, japa, dhyanam, puja. It was the first thing in spiritual life. And keeping satsang is more than just coming once a month to this. It's the company you keep. Yogananda many times said company is greater than willpower, which works both ways, both negative and positive. And I've seen many times in my life that people have been taken off the spiritual path just because they kept bad company. And it's really hard these days to find good company. But like Gloria and I, or we're not, it's not me, but we are very, very particular about what friends we make. And we try to make friends who have a spiritual path and whose company will be uplifting. And I know you're a young man in the business world, and that things like, you know, it's considered weird if you don't drink, you know, it's like almost mandatory to drink alcohol, these things. But if I can make a suggestion, if you just try to, before you give your friendship to anyone, evaluate whether it's going to be spiritually uplifting to you or not. And there are good people, and there are good people who have spiritual practices you can find, especially if you hang around spiritual groups. So that's just my suggestion. From my life experiences, try to keep really good company. Company can bring you down or it can raise you up. And that's part of satsang also.
Thank you, Mangala
Yes.
Mataji. So important. You're right. Ma talks about satsang constantly.
So from my personal experience, thank you, Mangalandaji. Yeah, so I follow so there has been 5 traditions I've been following. There is Neem Karoli Baba tradition, which is pretty good, and they have really good, devotees. Krishna Das, Nina Rao. There is so many, Rameshwar Das. There's so many of them. Like Renu introduced me to all of them. So yeah, it's like when I go to them, like it's very, very uplifting. Like, and they have a big influence in the Western world. yeah, so I try to follow that, and then there is also other traditions which I follow, which is Yogananda, of course, and they have like meditation group, which is like they have a schedule. Like if you go to calendar, they have a calendar specifically for SRF, and they have like hourly meditations, or they have weekend meditations. I really like Yogananda meditations a lot. I do that, and then there is the third, which is Anandamayi Ma. Of course, I follow her very closely. I have really, like my altar is like, you can see like I have like all altar full of Anandamayi Ma's pictures. Like when I wake up, like every day, it's part of my ritual. I will pour some water to Shiva. I have a little Shivalinga, and then I will burn some incense sticks to Anandamayi Ma, and like she helps me a lot. And yeah, the fourth tradition I follow is from my parents, and there is a Shaktipat tradition. As Pragnya mentioned, that Vijayananda had Shaktipat from Anandamayi Ma. In the same manner, it's a Mahasiddhi Yoga Shaktipat tradition, which my parents follow. I try to, yeah, because I think I had Shaktipat from the tradition as well. And when I sit for meditation, and it's like, I'm just like, I feel so much enjoyment. There is the Aarti, which I sing. It's like, yeah, I just go into deep bliss. It's really nice. Yeah. And then, yeah, fifth is the Garchan, which is, if you guys don't know about it, it's Yagarchan is a really nice, he's considered a reincarnation of White Tara. It's in Arizona, and we're gonna probably go to a retreat. Renu knows all about this as well. Yeah, these five traditions I think are keeping me here in Western world like pretty intact.
That's really good. And that's satsang too, is to have the company of these holy ones with us. Like Ma said, have religious art. Have these, you're doing exactly right. You know, when we, like right now in my room, I can, anywhere I rest my eyes, I see a picture of a deity or a Ma. And that also reminds you to remember God. That's really good. By the way, I'll be sharing kirtan with my group in May at the Indigo Yoga Institute in San Francisco. Why don't we, meet beforehand? We can have dinner or something earlier.
Yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
try. Okay.
Yeah, we're so grateful to have you, Mangalandaji. This is a rare blessing. Like, yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Here
such a wreck
in
right
Bay
now.
Area. No, it's fine. You will overcome this for sure. Ma is watching over you all the time.
Thank you so much, Hitesh. Sounds like you are rich in support from great beings. I'm so happy for you. Frank.
Thank you.
We can't hear you yet.
Okay, Jayma, you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to thank Apita for sharing her story. It was very beautiful. It really touched me, and I was gonna suggest that some time ago about I would really like to hear the people that attend regularly, and I want to hear their story and how they came to Ma or how Ma came to them, because like Ma says, you cannot think about me if I don't think about you first. So so I just really like to hear that. I think that'd be a beautiful thing. And also about your reading, it's funny because I had it marked and on my book, and it's the same thing that you were thinking. The stuff that happens. I live in a farm, so I have my dogs and I have goats and ducks and chickens and cows, and I'm trying to meditate. But it's a beautiful thing when you do hear them. You just kind of hear them, and I know that every sound is God. So I just kind of that's how I have to ignore it, is by saying it's God, So so I had it marked for that same reason you had it marked.
That's
and
great.
And for the gentleman too, we all go through things in life, whether we have addictions or whatever. And I went through that problem, and kind of like what Ramakrishna said, when he just gave it all, when he was like, take my good, take my bad, take it, I don't want it. And that's kind of how I saw it too. I was like, look, I don't like this. I don't like the person I am when I'm like this. Ma, can you please, with tears in my eyes, Ma, just take it. I don't want it. Please, just take it. It doesn't mean nothing to me. All I want is you. All this is just temporary. I don't want it. And believe me, I'm being honest, is that it does in time, you start not liking it. You're like, don't have the taste for it. You don't, and you just, it almost seems like, why am I doing this? And then you just slowly just throw it away, and you just focus on Ma. And I also, myself, I also have different teachers and gurus that I listen to, especially like Sri Nasagadata is like one of my favorites. And I have all these, but as much as they're my teachers, I still keep Ma as my main guru. But they because if not, I'll get confused. But so with me, what for them, what they help me understand sometimes Ma, because Ma, sometimes you can't understand her, but when I read other swamis or teachers talking about the experience or about non-duality, and I hear it, I'm like, that's what she meant. And so it's a very beautiful thing when you when you hear it from the teachers and they kind of bring you back to Ma. And I hear, when I read Ramakrishna as a gospel, man, I hear Ma. It's like, man, Ma just said that. I just read that in the gospel, in Ma's book. I'm like, wow, it's just really beautiful how they can put it together and make you understand it. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Yay, Ma.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you so much. Arpita?
Yeah, briefly, I just want to say to go easy on yourself and not be too harsh, and just to bring some patience. Bring some patience with yourself. Okay? This is not easy. So just keep that compassion for yourself in your heart, like you would a little child. Feel compassion and patience for this situation that we're all in, and for yourself. That's all.
Thank
Mom.
you, Arpita. Very sweet. Anybody else like to share before we go into meditation? Really nice sharing today. Thank you so much. This is satsang. It's when we're sharing about our insights on the path, our challenges, our victories. This satsang is why we come together. And Ma mentions it every other word. Number one thing, satsang. Anyone else? Okay, let's have some meditation together. We're going to go into meditation singing just a very simple chant to Ma. It has one word, Ma. And then as we come out, we'll sing one of Ma's favorite songs coming out, which is Hey Bhagwan.
You did the sound?
And yes, I'm going to try to do this. It's difficult because it's covered up by the recording thing. Tell me if you think, yeah, good.
Yep, there you go.
Excellent. Okay, so everyone should be muted. And this we'll sing in unison. So sing along, and then we'll have a short meditation. Ma, 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 Bhagavan, Hey 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 Bhagavan. Jai Ma, thank you for that beautiful silence together. So it's a very exciting day. We have many announcements for you. And you're going to be very excited about them. So you might even get out a piece of paper and a pencil. But if you don't do that, that's okay, because we'll send out a sort of a newsletter soon describing all of these events and wondrous things that are happening. Ma, it appears that Ma is turning the wheel really much faster, and we're very thrilled and honored to be part of that. So for a starter, as we told you in a recent satsang, we have formed a new nonprofit called Sri Anandamayi Ma Ashram and Temple. It's called SAMAT for short, SAMAT. And we want you to know we have just put up our new website. Our beloved Katya, along with Saraswati and myself, have been working on this website for some time. She designed it, and we provided the material for it. And it explains what's going to be happening in the future, some very exciting things. Saraswati is putting a link in the chat right now with the link to the website. And we appreciate lots of feedback on this. And there's a place in the bottom to contact us and to kind of register for the organization. We'll be eventually fundraising on this site to buy a property for our new ashram, which will be in New England. We're not sure exactly where. So that's the first thing. And our opening ceremony for the new ashram will be on Sunday, June 23rd from 1 to 4 Eastern time. That's, I think, the fourth Sunday of the month. We'll have satsang the week before, and then we'll have this opening ceremony. It will be hybrid, so if you don't live in New England, you can join us online. But if you do live in New England, we'd very much like you to come to. It will be Ted and Mai's new home. It's going to be sort of like a housewarming for our new home, which is, as we said before, going to have devotees living in it, and it has a huge living room for satsang. But we'll also broadcast from there on Zoom. So if you're in California saying, oh no, I want to be there, you will be there on Zoom. But we would love to have anybody who lives in New England or would like to fly in for this event to come. If you would want to come to the satsang in person, please email the email that Saraswati has just put in the chat, right? What is it called, Saraswati? To RSVP for the opening ceremony.
They're emailing you, Pragna.
Okay.
Okay.
My personal email or the chat or the website email?
Well, they can also go through the website as well, but I just put your email up just now.
Okay.
But you can also go through the
And we'll be
website.
having a lot of amazing things coming out of the new, I don't know what we're calling it, but it's our baby ashram. It's our founding ashram, including classes on Ma. I'm going to be teaching first a class on my first book, Mother of Bliss, 6 classes, and then a class on the Gospels. Following that, so you'll see it all on there. It's really beautiful. Okay, so before all that happens, there's something new that has come up. In less than 3 weeks from now, in early April, Swami Nirgunanandaji, who is one of the last living Swamis of Ma, and he's a fantastic teacher and quite a character, will be the highlight of a mini Sanyam Sapta that will take place in Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania. And this is sponsored by Ma's Mid-Atlantic Sangha. And this retreat will be open for registration soon. It will take place at the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam in Saylorsburg. And again, email me if you're interested, because we're about to have more information. As far as I know now, we can go, it's from the 5th to the 8th, and Swamiji is going to be giving talks. We're going to have all of the things that are usually happen at the Sanyam Saptaha. And there are cottages to rent, $80 a night for your room and board. And then by donation for Swamiji and the program. Okay, so that's that. Then, if any of you are near Pennsylvania, I'm jealous, we're gonna drive. Then from September 26th to 29th, our new Ma Ashram organization will be hosting our own mini Sanyam Saptaha.
Wait, excuse me, one second. If we're going to go chronologically, and we should put this on the website too. In July, I've been invited to Swami Satchidananda's big spiritual community, Yogaville. I'll be there the weekend of July 4th. I think it's July 4th. It's like a Wednesday. That following weekend, I'll be there giving a retreat on Ma's teachings on mantra and meditation, and be doing a lot of kirtan and things. I think we have a couple of people who are coming already, but that should also go on the website. That's the July 4th weekend at Yogaville, which is in Virginia.
I now know how to put things on the website myself, so you can just send me the info and I'll post it for you.
Okay, I just thought I would throw that in chronologically. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Bye.
Then from September 26th to 29th, we're giving a Sanyam Saptaha at the Shivananda Yoga Ranch in Woodburn, New York. So that's the Catskills. We're thrilled to announce that our 2 main speakers at the Sanyam Sapta in September will be Swami Guru Sharanananda from Ma Sharanam in India, and our own Acharya Mangalananda. So we just got word that Swamiji is coming. We're very excited. So yeah, that's also going to be on the website soon. It's already on the website, but we don't have the registration materials quite ready yet. So what we'd like to do right now, so that will be, again, the 26th through the 29th. And it's a wonderful place where they're going to offer us, they're going to cover the registration, the food, the accommodations, and we are providing the programming. And so we'll be chanting. Can you wait to hear Mangalanandaji and Swami Guru Sharan chanting together again? Oh my gosh. If you've never heard their CDs together, they're out of this world. So just for the fun of it, let's have a show of hands of people who think they might want, this is no commitment. We're just trying to get a feeling for who thinks they might want to come to in person to the September 26th through 29th retreat in the Catskills in Woodburn, New York. Can you see Saraswati? Okay, good, thank you. Okay, and we will be sending out a letter about that, but it's going to be amazing. Any questions about all these amazing events right now?
Can you repeat the date that Swami Nirgunanandaji will be coming?
Certainly, April 5th through 8th.
April of this year?
Yeah, it's in 3 weeks.
Wow.
It's been very slow in coming together. He was going to England, and then all of a sudden he got a visa for America. You know, it just kind of happened. So yes, I know it's very short notice.
Do you know if that will be on video, if it will be Zoomed?
I really don't know. I will ask our friend Mahadev Patel, who's organizing it.
Thanks so much.
Yes. Any other questions?
Pragna, where is Sailorsville near?
Saylorsburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, where is that near?
What I hear is it's an hour and 45 minutes from Philadelphia.
Oh.
So you could fly to Philadelphia if you were flying, or you could go to the Allentown airport. I don't even know where that is, but for us, for driving, I think we figured it was 4.5 hours. So we're planning to drive.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions? It'll be so great to see some of you soon. But we'll do our best to make sure the things that we sponsor will all be Zoomed. So you won't miss us. But I can't promise what happens with that retreat with Swami Nirgunanandaji. I'm not sure.
Which organized? Sorry.
I was told none of it was going to be. But maybe you have an update.
Which organization is that?
Shama, are you asking who's
which is the Sangha that is organizing that?
The Nirgunanandaji is organized by the Mid-Atlantic Ma Sangha. Mahadev Patel is the main person organizing.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But it is taking place at the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam.
Yeah, that's a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for all the information, but it all is happening at once and we're very excited. So please feel free to email questions. Yeah, somebody has their hand up. Arpita? Or maybe that was from before. Okay, so and our next satsang with Mangalanandaji will take place on Sunday, April 21st, third Sunday of the month, as usual. And we'll send you an invitation as we get closer. So we'll be sending out announcements of all of this with all the details, and the details will get firmer, I'm sure. So thanks so much for your patience as we waded through that.
Also, if you're new and you're not on the mailing list, please put your email in the chat and we'll be sure to make sure you get all the information.
Thanks, Saraswati, that's right. All righty, well, we're coming to the close of satsang. We're going to do some introductory, some closing mantras, and then we'll say goodbye with Jai Ma. Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva. Tvameva Bandhusha Sakla Tvameva. Tvameva Sarvam Vidyadravinam Tvameva. Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Asato Matsattamaya. Tamaso Machotya Tamaya. Jorma Amritam Gamaya. Avira Virmaheti. Om Purnamata Purnamikam. Purnat Purnamudashate. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Aveva Shishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Shri Anandamayi Ma Ki Jai. Okay, so let's all unmute so we can say goodbye and Jai Ma to each other. It's been wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much. I want to thank Saraswati, you, Katya for that beautiful chant, Arpita for her talk, and thank you, Mangalananda, for coming, even though you feel so crummy. It was wonderful to see you. But to everyone, especially people who are here for the first time, thank you so much. And Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Hey, Bashish, I see you.
Que malos bendiga. Que malos bendiga.
Jai Ma, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma. Feel better, Mangalandana.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, bye.
Jai Ma, thank you.
Hate to leave you all.
Oh, Jai Ma.
Pragnya,
Yeah. Bye,
people
Dave.
really, people are really excited about these announcements.
Yeah.
They're
Me
really
too.
excited. They want like a summary. They're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we'll send out, the summary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a lot.
it was a lot. But what to say? It's just going to be so much fun.
I had my little pen and paper out, but I couldn't write fast enough.
When are we going to see you, Renu? I want to see you in person.
I want to come to your little open house.
Oh,
yay!
yeah.
I
I'm gonna
hope
try.
so.
I mean, I can't make
So
promises,
much
but I'm
fun.
gonna-
And there's great Airbnbs around here, too.
yeah,
Have you
totally.
ever been to this beautiful place, Amherst, Massachusetts?
Never.
Oh my gosh, it's so